Hello everyone and welcome back to another game development log on my video. It's currently 8 AM and it's very cold, but still the sun is shining, and this is what I love about autumn, especially we got all these cool leaves, but the sun is shining, but we still have very cold weather, and I think it's all finally time for it. But as long as the sun is shining, I'm always standing up with a happy feet, actually. So I got my way off uni right now, and I'll see you guys when I'm back in the studio. So first of all, I have to apologize once again for not being consistent with my upload schedule, but life's full of things right now. Uni is getting a little bit more stressful and some private things got in there too, and in these cases, rather than being forced to create a video just to keep the schedule, I skip one, and so I can show more in the next DevLog. So one thing which I had on my to-do list was to remove and change the way I did the grid. Before, the grid was just spanned inside the building using some old code to spawn 4 grid tiles upon every ground mesh from the map generation. While that was kinda okay, I didn't want to keep it for one particular reason. Players should be able to walk around outside the building too, most likely because of the fact that they should try to get into the building. Obviously they won't spawn in there already, which doesn't make sense. So I got rid of some old code and introduced a new actor, which I call the level bounce volume, or actor. It has 2 adjustable volumes, the level size and the world size. The level size is a box where the map generation will generate the building in. The world size is the complete walkable size, so the world size is obviously bigger than the level size. To visualize this, both volumes are rendered using wireframes. Not only this makes it easy for me to keep track of that, but it also visualizes greatly for me. So when I design the levels, for example, around the buildings, I can clearly see where the map will be and where I can place decoration around, which is not only a tool, but also a great helper. In between, I did a city trip to Hamburg to visit an old friend, and because I get there for free, and it's still one of the most beautiful cities in my opinion. Now once I had that, I felt like this doesn't look right if the whole grid is visible everywhere. To tackle this, I worked on a fake light method. I wanted the grid to be only visible at places where it makes sense, such as the building itself, the current path and stuff like that, but not some tiles which are miles away from the player. I thought of several approaches on how to do that, such as using real lights on a different light channel, which didn't work. And after hours and hours of tinkering and thinking of a way, I found a very cool method which is the best in my opinion. So here comes the story. I created a 2D render target from code, which is completely black. Then I collect a list of tiles which should be highlighted. For now it's only the current path, but this is extendable for the future. The next step is to paint the pixels white, corresponding to the wanted grid tiles on the texture. Since the texture is 1024 by 1024, I have to calculate first how many pixels on the texture would represent one grid tile on the grid. Once I have the texture, I feed it via a material instance to the material of the individual grid tiles. And they are blurring it, pretty simple. So now I have to overlay this texture over the whole grid in some way. The way this can be done is using world UV coordinates. By default, a texture is overlaid across one object, so the texture would be repeated on each grid tile completely. Using world UV coordinates allows to specify a world position and a world size, and each material on each grid tile will render their little specific part of the big texture. Also, because the render target is updated in real time, it will dynamically re-render the texture, blur it, and display it when I move the mouse, which is pretty cool because it feels dynamic and live, and it doesn't take that much time either. As a last step, I used the black-white texture as an opacity mask for the grid tiles material, and the effect is complete. And I'm very happy with this because it looks very clean and natural, and it can be easily extended to highlight more tiles in the future. And as of right now, it seems pretty performant too. There are some things which I can change to make it more performant, but for now, it's okay. Unfortunately, that's all I really have to show this time. As I said, a lot of stuff was getting in between. But I really hope that you enjoyed this devlog. If so, don't hesitate to leave a comment or a like. If you'd like to stay in touch about the development, follow me on Twitter or simply subscribe to this channel. Many thanks. Also, you can join my Discord server, which really became a small and nice community, which I'm very happy to have. So as always, there's one thing left to say: have a nice day and take care.